What's up, y'all? My name is Andre Hopkins, also known as Entre Interview, and today I'm joined here by C9 Vic. How are you feeling?
I'm all right. Tough loss against Loud, but more games on Sunday, so 2 more days.
I mean, how are you feeling the Super Week? Has it been as packed as you expected it to be?
I guess I can't really say much yet because we still have another game, so it hasn't really hit with like how fast the matches are going to come. But I always like this kind of format where you kind of just go back to back, and it's just more a different feeling in a sense. You're not just playing every week, and it kind of feels a routine in a sense. Feels like weekly games. So now like this week's a little different, so it's nice. It's a nice
Okay.
switch up.
Yeah, just a completely different kind of. I assume at least, just different in terms of practice and everything like that, with having the
Yeah.
such a quick turnaround. So, just jumping into the game, just kind of what do you think went wrong in today's series?
I wouldn't really say it went wrong. I just think, or we have like a new approach on everything. I think I don't know if you talked to any of the other guys, but of course we have a new coach and a
Hmm.
new system in a sense. Yeah, we still have some of the stuff that we had prior, but it's completely different. I'd say. I think us players, especially the older guys, I think me, Oxy, Zelsis played a certain style for like a long time, and we're comfortable with that style. And we're comfortable with um that way of playing. I think the newer guys thrive in this newer system, so it's just getting used to and getting reps in and everything. So I think it's just learning.
I was going to kind of ask just about with the kind of new coaching change. I mean, has that brought a kind of a new system? Has there been any changes in the game plan with such a short time between that change in this game?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think the way we approach practice and the way we approach these games are a lot different from what we were doing before. I think not necessarily it's good or bad. I think it's just different, and I think only time can tell if it fits us or not.
Is there any kind of difference when the timeouts are called between Immi and Veer in terms of like just how the timeouts go, what's said in them?
I think they're similar in a sense. I think they're both beneficial. I think it helps us players on what we need to do. I think with Immi, he gave Zelsis a little more room with his flow calling because I think that's how Zelsis is as a caller, and I think he's really good when he kind of gets into the flow of the game. While Veer in the new system's kind of what we should be doing and kind of more direct. So it's just different style, but they're both very beneficial.
And yeah, come my last question just on that is just what do you have you seen a difference in like kind of coaching style and approach like you talked about between the two coaches in the kind of short time that Veer's been the head coach?
Yeah, I definitely have. I think they both have their strengths and they both have their negatives. Of course, I think they're just different. And for me, it's still new, and I think for all the other guys too, it's new. So it's hard to say exactly what fits us in a sense. But I think we're just learning along the way and trying to build off of that.
Okay, and then kind of just going to the stage as a whole. I mean, we've seen the team struggling on these pistol rounds. You guys managed to get your first two today, but just what do you think has kind of caused those struggles on those rounds?
I'm not necessarily sure. I think in general, I think even the past years with C9, we've always had more set pistol rounds with the util base. I think the meta has kind of changed, especially last year with energy, where they buy deagles a lot and kind of walking around. And I think once you lose a body, and in a sense, the body is like a part of the util. So I think it kind of messes up everything, and I think it becomes very hectic after that. Um, I'm not sure. I think a lot of it could be unlucky, unfortunate, or it could just be us playing the pistols wrong. So I think it's just everything.
How do you kind of feel like your return has been? I mean, you kind of took some time away in between stage one and stage two, and then we saw you return. I mean, how do you kind of feel in your return? Does it feel any different from stage one?
Definitely. I think it feels different with the sense it's a completely new team, in my opinion. Even though it's before it was just two new players, but those two new players, like I barely got time with Jack. I think I only had like a week and a half with him, so I still consider him like a new player when I re came back. And I think it's just different play styles. Everyone has their own way of playing, with the new guys, and even for me, I have my way of playing, and I think it's just kind of meshing because I think this meta right now is double duelist, and I think for us, we're not really going that route, but I'm more notoriously playing like the late round. I think the other C9 rosters and playing like the clutches.
Mm-hmm.
I think because now we play like single duelists, it's a little uncertain. I think I'm running in a lot more and diving in. So it's just a different style and just gotta figure it out. That's all.
Okay, and then I have one fan question who just kind of wanted to ask. You talked about Jack being a new player. Just kind of how has it been playing with the new kind of players with Fireball off with Jack, and what's kind of been the dynamic with those players?
I think they're really good mechanically. I think they have their moments and they will have their moments. I think it's just always the teamwork and just making sure we all mesh together is always the hardest part. And all I can really say is it just takes time, but they both have good futures. I think they both have their strengths, and I think we just got to pull it out of them.
I mean, we saw Fireballs was moving different on that third map on,
Actually,
but on that Cypher, he was some of those clutches he was getting, those 3Ks, 4Ks, those were clean. So I have a second fan question here. I want to ask just kind of how different, if at all, has your approach been to stage two compared to now, when the stage begun?
I think stage one and stage two are very similar before the coach changes, but then once the coach changes happen, I think the approach midway through stage two has been a lot different. I think, like I said, it's just a different style of coaching and a different way of kind of calling the way we play the round. So it's just an adjustment period that we have right now.
Mhm. And then I know you probably can't say a ton to it, but was there anything specific that you feel has changed in the swap from Veer to Immi? I mean, you kind of talked a little bit about game planning and strategy, but is there anything outside of that you feel has changed?
I think like a TLDR kind of is just with Immi was a lot more micro and a
Mm-hmm.
lot more team orientated in a sense where we got to make sure we're all on the same page, while Veer is more playing to our comforts and trying to make people comfortable within the game and making sure people shine the way they want to shine. But trying to keep more of the macro good. So I think Immi is more micro, and then our Veer is more macro in the whole scheme of things, and letting the players kind of choose the micro if it's good. Hopefully, like everyone gets a shine.
Mm-hmm. And then a quick another third fan question here: are there any Valorant players, current or retired, who inspired your playstyle or who you looked up to as a pro player?
I think it's a mixture of a lot of people. I think I really found my identity during that 2024 MXS run, and I think I took a lot of inspiration out of a lot of players. I think during that time, I was really aggressive on the way I was playing. So I'd watch um Som, Valen, Bang, like I think Bang's a little more passive, but like players that really are good within the smokes role in every region, even Smoggy when they won. But I think throughout time I've kind of adapted my game to being a little slower within the teams. And I think I used to watch a little Scuba too. I think Scuba's a great like slow round, late round player, and I think I got some inspiration with him too. But I think it's just everyone. Like you scrim so many people throughout the day, you watch so many games. In the mornings, I'll have like the EU games on, and you get inspiration from everyone. And I try to not mimic, but try to replicate some things during practice stuff and try to put in my own game. And then I kind of just like mix it all. It's kind of like what's the term when you like a mixing pot or whatever, like when you like
Mm-hmm.
something like that, like it's just a mixture of everything. And I try to always expand my game and try to make sure I'm the best of the best of what I can do and what I can provide, but sometimes good, sometimes bad.
I mean, you talked a little bit about the different identity and you having to play kind of differently, diving in instead of playing back. And we've seen a lot of teams having to kind of experiment with different identities. We've seen T1 Pacific having Buzz, their main duelist player on Smokes. Even in region G2 with Jogamo and KO. I mean, how do you think that this meta has forced teams to kind of evolve and adapt differently than they usually would have to?
Um, I think it's just finding player strengths within the meta. I think some players like Lev are just really good with this double duelist meta right now with the Neon or not Neon, with the Chamber, like Neon on Chamber, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really that like not one dimensional, but like they can play that on every map, if that makes sense. While
Mm-hmm.
other teams don't have that set qualities, so they try to go into a different approach and they try to do like I think for our team we try to do this double senti because that's our player strengths and that's just kind of how we kind of go or double initiator and teams like Energy also they play this one duelist and they kind of play the support. So I think a lot of teams are experimenting on what works for them, but also trying to fit themselves in the meta because I think everyone has tried this double duelist at one point in this season or in this year, but for some teams it's just not the best like for them or like their vision of the game. And I think everyone just experimenting and kind of seeing what works for them, what doesn't work. And I think some teams are better, some teams are worse with it, and it's just everyone's trying to win their own way.
Okay. And then I have one question I've kind of been asking different players. So I was thinking about making a VCT players playlist where I asked people if they could add one song. Do you have a song that you'd like to add to that playlist?
A song.
It can be any genre, anything you can think of.
Let me go my phone real quick.
No worries. No worries.
I have a song. I have a playlist with like all the songs that would be my like top. Let me just go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this year, I don't know if anyone did this, but I liked Harry Styles' "American Girls" this
All
year.
right.
So this is mine just for this year. But I have a lot of other songs.
I mean, the first two were very different. So anything we had Chapel Roan into Netspend. So we've had some very different genres. So I'll make sure to add that in there. And then last
Yeah.
few questions. How do you feel kind of going into your upcoming game versus I think it's Crew next week?
Yes, Crew. I think they're having a little shaky start to stage two, just like us. I think it's just whoever shows up on the day. I think we both have shown moments of like brilliance throughout this year, and I think we're both in a slump right now. But I think it's just whoever can come out of that slump and be the winner of this game can really change this year, in my opinion. Change the course the rest of the year. Yeah.
And then do you have any words for the C9 fans?
We'll be back stronger. I appreciate who still support. We're trying our best with the recent changes too. We've been putting a lot of work, even though it might not look the results you guys want. It's just hard. I think this year has been the hardest for me. Also, I decided to come back and I decided to push through, and I really do want to show the outcome that you guys hope for, but sometimes it's just not always like that. But just know we're trying.
Well, Vic, thank you very much for your time. Good luck in your game next week, or actually not next week, but on Sunday versus Crew, and have a great rest of your night.
You too. Thank you. I appreciate your time.